Hi folks, John Cordisco back again. Another game from Norway Chess 2018. This is round 3 action. As white, someone that needs no introduction in the chess world, current world champion from Norway, Magnus Carlsen. And as black from Armenia, great world-class player, Aronian. I think Aronian is, of the current players, is probably the strongest to never play in the World Championship, in my personal opinion. Except for Caruana, who's going to be playing this November. Let's get to it. It's going to be a real Opé Berlin, and before everybody rolls their eyes, it gets pretty crazy for Berlin. Let's go through it beginning, because we've all seen a Berlin a million times. Bishop comes back. This version where knight takes and rook takes. Alright. We've seen this a lot of times. You know, I mean, it's a version I'm not used to. Castles, d4 by Magnus. This is all preparation for these guys. Rook comes back. Knight f5. Pawn up. Rook over. Rook takes. Queen takes. Queen d3. d6. Oh, pretty much normal stuff. White's a little underdeveloped, but this is all, like I said, this is all theory. It's all been gone over a million times. Knight goes to d2. Probably going to try to end up going to f3. Bishop, and now the knight where it belongs on f3. That's a good spot for that knight. I mean, we can look at this. You know, pawn up. Pretty secure center for Magnus. That's a really good pawn there. It's going to be a little weird getting this bishop out, but he should be okay. The bishop takes, rook takes. That must be theory, because I probably wouldn't have taken to give him basically a free tempo with a rook. Bishop up, rook e1, hitting the queen. Queen comes over. Nothing really spectacular. Everything's, well, this is just another boring Berlin. Let's watch a different video, but it gets a little crazy quick. Queen c4 and h3. I think that's just to keep the bishop out in the future. Knight g7. Rook comes up. That's an interesting move there. A little surprised at a5, to tell you the truth. I think what he's trying to do is go a5 and then pawn here and then pawn here with his bishop behind it would be nice. So he goes a5 and Magnus cuts that right off with a4. Now he's going to decide to reroute the knight. I probably would have went c6. Queen comes over. Knight goes back to g7. That was a little odd. g4. Here comes Magnus. Now, I got the computer on off screen. It's a little less than a pawn advantage for white. Nothing to really write home about. c6 finally. Pawn comes up. Knight goes back to e8. You know, frankly, I would have tried something later down the road, like queen here. If he's going to go back and forth, get the queens off the board. Queen comes over. King goes to g7. Now rook b3. Magnus switches completely to the other side of the board. Black now is starting to get awful cramped. He has to go to b8 to save the pawn. Knight comes up, threatening the f7 pawn. I think f6 was appropriate here. It's a little ugly, but it's not the end of the world. Black's light-squared bishop is worthless, and the rook is b8 is pinned. At any moment, this rook can swing over. But it still shows less than a pawn advantage for white on the computer. But he goes knight f6. which seems decent. But the problem is, here comes the rook. Queen e7 is basically his only choice, or c takes d maybe. But he makes the horrible mistake of h6. And that is the losing move. If he had played pawn takes, queen e7, it's still really, really, really bad. But at least he might be able to hold on. But after h6, Magnus, of course, hits the knight. Knight takes, queen takes. If he had taken e4, the knight instead, after a pawn up, queen, b6, game peters out. But after queen takes f7, king goes to h8, queen takes g6. And that's where Aronian, a world-class player from Armenia, throws in the towel to give you an idea what would have happened. After queen up, queen takes the knight, you're up 2 full pawns. C takes, check, king, queen b6, and it's just miserable. Absolutely miserable for black. So Aronian throws in the towel. So there's a win from round 3 of Norway Chess 2018. Again, I want to thank all my subscribers for sticking with me. I haven't done a lot of videos lately. I have some personal as well, some health concerns I'm still battling, but I'm hanging in there. And so again, thank you to all my subscribers that stuck with me. And as I always say, if you think chess is just a game, you're not playing it right. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.